Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Allegedly Credible. I'm Danielle, aka Lady Faye, and this is
Mel, aka Mel Supremo.
And today we are talking about why we do not trust doctors. I have a hard time trusting doctors.
I am on the fence, because, well, we'll go into that.
There are very few doctors in my life that I've actually been comfortable with, but for the most part, I feel like the medical industry as a whole just needs to be revamped, personally.
Yeah, I don't like the fact that they're more so trying to focus on how to get the symptoms down rather than going to the source. So, yeah, that's what we're going to dive into today.
Okay, so before we dive in, Mel, how's your week been? What's been going on with you?
We don't even need to talk about the week. Even though, Mother's Day just passed.
Yeah, Mother's Day just passed.
So, that was cool. But skirt into the future. What happened today?
God, no!
I told you I was going to do it. I told you I was going to do it. So, Daniel called me. He's like, okay, let's go and, set it up for our next episode. Can you just bring my stuff upstairs? Mind you, she just had her boo thing come and visit her house yesterday. And I'm like, okay, minding my business. I go pick up the tripod, and I place the camera down. And what do I see right next to the microphone and the camera? Let's just say I saw a very... I don't even know if I can put this on YouTube. I just saw something that I shouldn't have seen for extracurricular activities that shouldn't have been out and about so freely and willy-nilly.
First of all, I just want to say this. Nothing was recorded or anything like that. We don't do that over here.
Are you sure this didn't go to your OnlyFans?
It did not go. I don't even have an OnlyFans. It started. But no, nothing was recorded or anything like that.
Let's just say she had a very nice time this weekend.
It was put... I don't know how it ended up there. That's all I could say.
I don't know either.
That's all I could say, but it wasn't on purpose.
I just felt
there was nothing was recorded.
Uncomfortable.
Nothing was I didn't even use it, to be honest with you.
But it was ready if necessary. And then it wasn't even just that. The fact that, I needed this table and there was a whole box of them just chilling out there open. I'm just like, what the heck is going on here? What the heck? There was no type of, consideration.
Ooh, I forgot. I thought I put it away. I apologize. I'm sorry.
I don't feel violated. I just feel every time, we're already close as it is. I don't know how much closer than I'm willing to get. I think I'm gonna have to start pulling back because we're just now. I feel too close.
Oh, God.
I never thought that I would reach a point of TMI, but I'm definitely I met the point.
And this is why we're trying to get our own studio.
This is why, yes, we're trying to get our own studio. And this is why it's very important to have strict boundaries.
Because nobody, so people forget to put stuff away, and that is on me.
And it's all cool because I don't clean my house all the time. People know, I have my underwear in the bathroom upstairs in the shower. But yeah, we need that studio. Y'all better start donating because this ain't
But the rest of my room was pretty decent. I don't want you to think that it was just out laying about. It wasn't like that.
It was out laying about.
Okay, whatever.
It was right by the weights.
It was. Okay.
It was next to the dresser. And the sad part about it, my mind was just oh, is that a back massager? And I was like, no.
Right as I was coming up the stairs, I was like, oh crap, did I put that away? And then I opened the door and I see her face see her face.
Like, I wish it was recorded. Like, it was like as if your parents just like walked in on you and you're like caught red-handed, and I'm just like,
and I just started busting out laughing. I just was laughing on the floor, rolling, because her face was so funny to me. But yeah,
I had a mind fart. Like,
yes, oh my god, I'm sorry, y'all. That typically doesn't happen.
No, it doesn't.
That doesn't happen. Anywho,
how was your week?
I had a pretty good week. You know, as you know, I'm very private about my love life. Extremely private. Why are you looking at me like that?
How many episodes have we had of talking about your love life?
But when I'm actually dating somebody,
oh, okay,
and seeing somebody, I don't post pictures.
Yeah.
We don't like put, oh, so and so is seeing each other, you know, that kind of thing. That's what I mean.
I'm gonna change my
that.
Facebook status.
I don't do any of that. You
Yeah.
will not go and find any pictures of him online because that's not gonna happen. Like, that's what I mean. Most of the time, the relationships that I talk about, they're already done before they start. So, I'll just be real.
Yeah.
So this is the first time I ever brought anybody home to meet the family. And,
that was interesting.
You know, that kind of thing. I was very nervous and a little, like, uncomfortable, but I think it went well. It went pretty well. You know, my mom is the toughest person to get through, so if my mom likes you, then that's always a good start. So, yeah, that's pretty much the gist of that. That was my week. I mean, other than, Lord, I'm not even going to this, but other than, like, us trying to find funding for this building.
Don't even.
And then, like.
Don't even.
We're not even going to talk about it. Yeah, we're not even going to go into that because that was a lot. But anyway, just know we are trying to find grants and everything for us to get our own studio. So if anybody knows any grants who wants to come help us out, please let your girl know.
And if y'all have money that you guys have nothing to do with, we'll take it.
Yeah, we will take it. We'll take your money, no problem. Also, you know, we're getting ready. We're looking for artists and performers for our Creative Hive show back in September again. So definitely check that out as well.
We also have our next our live panel episode that's going to be filmed in Ewing. If you know where TCNJ is, the College of New Jersey, that's where we'll be. And we're also partnering with the Real Queens Talk podcast. So that's going to be...
Wait, I thought the actual recording is in Ewing, but it's at the Art and Soul the studio.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
The Art and Soul studio in Ewing,
yeah,
New Jersey.
Yep, so that's where we're going to be. So definitely come out if you're a Black woman and you want to talk about if you feel safe in America. You can and you cannot, but that's up to you. But we definitely want you to come out.
And it's free.
Yeah, and it's free.
So you better come.
Yes.
There's no excuse.
There's no excuse.
Hey, it's your girl Lady Faye, and I'm here with Mel Supremo, and of course, thank you for coming and listening to us once again in our stories. Today, we are talking all about why we don't trust most doctors and our crazy experiences that we've had. We've also read horror stories on the internet too, so definitely tune in and check us out.
So let's dive right into this topic real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So let us start. I'm gonna start with Mel. Mel,
do I trust doctors?
Do you trust your doctors?
Well, I can take onto the fact that I don't go to the doctors very much. And, you know, people might think that I don't trust them. Let's just say I use them for certain things. Like, I know that obviously I'm not going to be able to read my complete blood panel by myself. But I'm definitely not thinking that everything that you say is your honest opinion to look out for my health. I think you're just looking out for markers and seeing where you can mark it from my levels. Okay. That's what I think.
All right. I'm going to tell y'all that right now, like, there's very few doctors I actually trust or go to. I go to the doctor just to kind of, like, get my blood work done on a panel and everything like that. If I'm having issues, I'll go. I try to be as natural as possible when healing things or dealing with things, because most of the time I find a lot of doctors to be useless. I'm not even gonna lie to you about that, because you'll be like, I'm having this issue, and they're just like, oh, it's nothing, whatever.
That's completely normal. But it's like, what is normal? Like, I shouldn't be feeling tired all the time. Like, just because, quote unquote, African Americans have low levels of vitamin D, that shouldn't be normal. That shouldn't be acceptable. You know what I mean?
Really? I thought it was the opposite.
I found that out. I found out that, like, black women have, like, really low levels on average.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but, a doctor told me so.
A doctor told you.
So you never know.
I think personally for me, it's like, okay, I'm gonna start, as y'all know, I'm a bigger girl, everything like that. And I think for me, I feel like the way that doctors measure your body, the way that they see a lot of things, it's not, I feel like it's not productive, and I also feel like it's not updated. Like, they need to update how they do things.
Like the BMI?
So, yeah, like the BMI, because you can be an athlete and still be considered morbidly obese. You could be, very muscular, have a little bit of fat on you, and you go to the scale, and they'll be telling you need to lose weight. And if you go based on the BMI, it's based on your height and your weight, and then they tell you, oh, this is what your BMI should be.
It's not an accurate test to figure out whether you're healthy or not, or overweight or not. They even tell you that it's not accurate, but they still use it. It doesn't make any sense.
And I think for me personally, just like in my weight loss journey and everything like that, if you see pictures from where I first was to where I am now, like, a lot of people would still, like, consider me, like, oh, like, I'm still in the obese category. Like, I know I'm still bigger and everything like that. But I've lost so much body fat. Like, my body fat percentage has gone down so much, and my muscle has gone up compared to where I was when I was, like, 400 some odd pounds. So, and I'm so much stronger than I was then, too.
And you were strong back then, too.
Yeah, I was strong back then, too. But if I go to the doctor and I just step on the scale, I've lost 94 pounds, but they're not even accounting for the fact that, like, how much of that is muscle, how much of my body fat went down.
And they automatically think that you're, like, borderline diabetic.
Yeah, automatically.
It's like, you don't even know me.
Every time, so I'm going to say this, from the time I'm going to say 12, I was always overweight, whatever. But by the time I was 12, I was told by the time I was 15 I was going to be a diabetic. By the time I was, I was told by the time I was 20 I was going to be diabetic. By the time I was 25, by the time I was 30, I'm 33 now. And when they see my my chart or my blood results, and I'm not even pre-diabetic, my sugar levels are always really good, they're kind of like, oh, well, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm telling you what I'm doing.
You're not listening.
It's like almost like they don't believe that I work out 4 days a week. I do watch what I eat. I mean, I do eat sweets here and there. I don't want to act like I don't, but most of my sweets are, like, limited to fruit.
And then you don't have it as often as someone would expect you.
Yeah. I think a lot of people think I eat all day, and that's, like, farther from the truth. I really don't eat all day.
Danielle eats better than me. Because y'all, like, I eat. I put sit down. Like, I remember when I was a kid, I was in the 20th percentile my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, oh, Mel doesn't eat. Mel's not eating enough. She can't, if she doesn't reach a certain weight, then I won't be able to have my period, and I would have to go on hormones in order to kickstart my period. My parents were like, no, we're not doing that. Yes, she eats. And it got to the point that I would have to eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich every night trying to make weight. It did absolutely nothing. I used to have to drink the Ensures. Mm-hmm. They thought I was anorexic.
Yeah, and I think they don't factor in, like your medical genetics, everything like that. And then, like I said, there's a whole new way of measuring, like, body weight. It's called, like, there's in-body scales. I have a scale personally at home that tells me how much my water weight is, how much my body fat percentage is, how much my muscle is, and like my visceral fat, which the visceral fat is actually the most important type of fat that you need to get rid of, because that's the fat around your organs.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay.
So the fat around, so technically, because I'm a researcher. I don't know if you guys I
had no idea.
know this.
I
I mention it a lot, but technically, so the fat around your thighs, the fat around your arms, and stuff like that. That's called subcutaneous fat. Subcutaneous fat. Yeah. So like a person who is bigger, who could have a lot more like subcutaneous fat, but their visceral fat is lower. But you have a person who is smaller, but they have way more visceral fat. They technically are way less healthy than that bigger person with less visceral fat, because the fat around your organs is really what's killing you.
Because there shouldn't be all that muscle is essential in order for the movement and the practicality of the organs working effectively and efficiently. If you have more fat around those organs, it's working even harder.
Right. And the thing is, I didn't know about any of this. Like, when you go to the doctor, they don't talk to you about visceral fat. They don't talk to you about any of that. They don't talk to you about how it breaks it down or anything like that. I read a lot of health books as well. There's one author, I think his name is Sean Stevenson. It's called Eat Smarter. That was a really good, informative book.
I think we heard about that.
Yeah, he has a podcast, right? Too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's very phenomenal, like, with the information he has. And then on top of that, let's be real. Like, the way that our healthcare system is set up in this whole country, it's really aimed at helping pharmaceutical companies make like big bank off of us.
Yeah, big pharma is definitely one of the major issues, at least for America. I can't
at least
speak
for America. Yeah, like
Canada, they have free healthcare for a reason.
Actually, my boo was telling me that like in Italy, there's like the food is like so much higher quality than it is in America. And it's not that you can't get sick there or anything like that, but it's like the amount of people who get sick compared to here is just like completely lower. Mm-hmm. And they have more like stricter guidelines on what they put in the food. Yeah. So my thing is, if we're going to have like an obesity epidemic, all this other stuff, then we really have to talk about like, where's our food source? Where is it coming from? What are they putting in our food? Obviously, we've had a lot of episodes this season about this, but I feel like doctors have to stand up too and be like,
not just chase the dollar, but they actually have to update their like equipment, like get better scales, like those outdated the T scale. Literally, there's still doctors that have that. Mm-hmm. And for a fact, let's be real, you're not even supposed to weigh yourself later in the day. You're supposed to weigh yourself first thing in the morning, as soon as you finish going to the bathroom, whatever, and at the same time every day. And they don't even let you take off your shoes anymore.
Oh, yeah, you just step on the scale and they just record that weight.
I could be wearing a down jacket. It's like, up, there's your weight. I'm like, but no.
Yeah, and so what I do, I'm gonna let y'all know right now, because I don't be liking that. What I do is when I know I'm going to the doctor, I literally screenshot. I take my weight that morning, first thing in the morning, and I screenshot it. So I take my screenshot and I show it to them that morning. I take the screenshot of that morning, and then when I go to the doctor's office, that's when I'm like, hey, I want it recorded in my chart that this was my weight from this morning.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Okay.
And then also on top of that, so here's the other thing that you can do. Y'all be getting around everything, right? So I remember specifically, I would keep having like, I remember asking for my doctor's records at one point, right? And I was noticing that, like, my low cholesterol was bad. And, my good cholesterol, sorry. My good cholesterol was low. That's what I was trying to say. My good cholesterol was low. My red blood count was low, too. But everything else was, like, okay. And I remember, like,
Did they bring that up to you?
No, they never brought it up. I just kept seeing it. So I was like, I asked my doctor, like, well, why don't you say anything to me about my good cholesterol being like
low?
Like, shouldn't it be higher or like, whatever? And she's just like, oh, I wouldn't worry about that. But like, if anything was high off the chart, like, if anything was high, like if my cholesterol was high or like if my blood sugar was high or something like that, you would definitely mention it to me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, just something being low is just as important as something being high to me
something's
personally.
Not working the way that it should. That's
yeah,
what I think.
Something's not working the way that it should. So just so y'all know, so you get a loop around that. So anytime you get blood work done, like I go through LabCorp or whatever your insurance does, you can sign up for a portal from their
directly from
their lab.
Mm-hmm.
So that way, when the blood results come in, you get
it.
them before your doctor even calls you.
Yeah.
So that way you can see what's going on, and you can. So what I do is I highlight things that concern me. So then when the doctor calls me, I already have it set up, and I can ask them like any type of question I have. Well, I noticed this is low. What should I do for that? I noticed. Well, mind you, I already did the research too. Of like, okay, what does it possibly mean if this is low, or
so it can be in an alignment
if this is high?
Yeah,
because I feel like one thing that you have to do is definitely take your own health into your own hands. I firmly believe that.
No one's going to take care of you. No one's going to care about you the way that you care about yourself.
Right. And I do understand that doctors see millions of patients, like see so many patients, so they can't completely keep up with everybody. And I also understand they may, like if you go for your annual visit every year, they may only see you once a year. So they're giving this little small snapshot. All they know is that, your weight has gone up or your weight has gone down, but they're not considering like, have you gone to the gym lately? Because your weight could be going up because you're you're
what
building muscle.
What are the factors associated with this?
There's
change?
So many different factors that are going on with your body that like, I just feel like, especially in Western culture, they don't pay attention to it, and they're so quick to push a pill down your throat. And honestly, so yo, I'm gonna tell you something.
Okay.
I'm gonna go back. This is when I really first was like, I'm done. I don't really like doctors. I'm so specific about what doctors I have, and I do so much research on them and look up reviews. Because I had one doctor. She was a family doctor for us. And, constantly, every time I went in, she was talking to me about my weight. Okay,
This is when you were a kid.
Yeah, cool. Kid. I had her when I was a kid. Had her into my 20s. After one time, I was like, okay, I'm done. I think 2017. That's when I was like, all right, I'm done with you. So I'll explain. Went to the doctor, every time my weight was brought up. But anytime I went in, like it could be for a cold. Mind you, I worked in daycare, so constantly I was around
sickness and disgusting kids.
I would get coughed
people.
on, thrown up on, a lot of different things happening. But every time I go, it was almost like you have a sore throat because you're fat. That was literally how it felt like.
Wait, what?
Well, if you lost weight, you wouldn't be sick as often. Okay,
what?
Cool.
No, that's not. I mean, I never went to medical school, but I never heard of your weight having anything to do with how often you get a cold. I mean,
that's true. Like, your weight does. I'm not gonna say that like your weight doesn't affect how your immune system works and stuff that. But it was just almost like, okay, well, there are a lot of skinny people at my job who are getting
just as often
as I am.
I mean, and
if not more. Actually, I had some coworkers who were always sick, who were thinner than me, who always had health issues.
Right.
And for me, technically, I was usually always the last one to get sick. Everybody else would drop like flies, and I was usually the last one standing.
And what's so weird is that you're mostly known to be the hypochondriac. I'm the one that always gets sick. That's wild. So she basically weight shamed you about being sick.
Yep. And it would happen every time. So this is a true story. So my tonsils would be like all the time. My throat would hurt so bad. Like when I got sick, most of the time it was like throat issues. And I did not know, mind you, I'm walking around for years with my tonsils like touching each other.
That's not normal, guys.
And I didn't know this. I didn't know you weren't supposed to see your tonsils. My doctor never said anything to me other than take this antibiotic, take this Z-Pack, take this, that was it. Mm-hmm. And I'm like literally had like stones, tonsil stones, all this other stuff. So this is what happened. I went to the dentist because I finally had a job where I had some dental insurance, okay? So I went to the dentist to get some of my teeth fixed. And yeah, this was 2016, I do believe. Mm. He's in my mouth, like, doing my exam, and he says to me, have you ever had your tonsils checked out? And I'm like, yeah, I get them checked out all the time. He's like,
You get them checked out all the time?
Yeah, because I was sick all the time with the tonsil issues.
That's a red flag right there.
So he was like, has your doctor ever suggested that you get them taken out or anything? I said, no, what's going on? He said, you know your tonsils, like, are touching, right? And they're really red. I said, yeah. He's like, they're not hurting right now. I said, no, they're always like
cough,
that.
Like right now, like.
Yeah, I'm like, they're always like that. He's like, oh. He's like, well, I'm not like. He's like, I'm a doctor, but I'm not like a medical doctor. But I would go get that checked out and maybe find a new doctor. Like, go to ENT or something. And he even asked me what kind of insurance I had because he's like, you might be able to go directly.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. I went to ENT. And when I kid you not, I went to the ENT. He was like, okay, are you having issues with your throat now? I said, no, but my dentist was really concerned.
He's like, you didn't even get referred by your doctor? Your dentist sent you a referral to come see me? He's
so like, he like touches my throat. He's like, okay. And then he was like, can you just go, And I was like, okay, I kid you not. It wasn't even 2 seconds. It was not 2 seconds. Like when I tell you, I don't even think I opened my mouth good. He was like those need to come out. He said, how long has it been like this?
My whole life.
I was like, it's been like this for a minute, like a long time. He said, that's when he said to me, he's like, and who's your doctor? Because he's like,
she's about to get your doctor reported.
He's like, how do you walk around this long and not? He's like, can you eat with those? I'm like, yeah, like. So he was just like, all right, go this place, schedule surgery. He's like, those need to come out, and he's like, I would give you other methods, but you have so many tonsil stones. It's like...
Oh, he could see them?
Yeah, they were... I could see them. But I didn't know that's what they were.
Wow.
I didn't know that's what they were.
I've never seen a tonsil stone.
Oh, it's gross.
Is that like those bird pellet things people be talking about?
Yeah, they're like little tiny... They're hard. But I thought it was pus coming out of my throat. That's what I thought it was, but it was like they're considered tonsil stones. Mm. And he took them out, and I can honestly say I haven't had really any like real throat issues. It would like make my ears hurt sometimes if my tonsil hurt so bad.
Do the throat thing.
And the adenote.
do the throat thing.
Do the throat thing. I used to do that a lot. And then I would do that a lot.
That's when she opens the gates of hell.
Because it was like always aggravating, so I was always trying to like scratch and itch, you know. But
my allergies act up.
Yep. And then after that, I was just like, okay. And then I still went to my doctor after that for a little bit, just because I hadn't found a new doctor yet. And I went, and remember I injured my ankle.
Knew I. So you saved your niece's life in front of the hospital.
I had torn my ankle, some ligaments in my ankle. And now before that I started losing some weight, like, and then I hurt myself. And mind you, when I tell you I wasn't even eating like that, because there were days where I was literally laying on the couch and I couldn't move because I had to use crutches to walk. And I had to crawl to the bathroom, like, during this time period, whatever. But I was a very active person. I'm, like, the type of person, if I don't move, like, to me, it just feels like I gain weight so easily. Like, I'm not even trying to be funny. Especially at that time. So, I was walking every day because I remember the doctor had told the specialist I had gone to for that was like, oh, you got to start walking. You got to make sure you move it, blah, blah, blah. So, I was trying to heal. And when I was trying to heal... the doctor had said to me, my PCP was like, oh, I had to come in for like just a checkup or something like that. And she was like, oh, you gained 10 pounds in 3 months.
She wanted to cry. Like,
and
she was
I was just like, I literally injured myself. Like, I've still been walking. I've still been doing everything. Like, that's what you care about right now? Like,
I'm here because I literally have a medical condition that needs to be rectified right now. Like, I tore my ligament or tendon.
It was ligament.
Ligament, and you're talking to me about my weight loss? Are you going to tell me that the reason why I tore my junk is because I'm overweight? That's malpractice.
So after that, I was completely done. I was like, okay, whatever. And then this is when I found out you can actually look at your charts, because before that, I didn't really know that you could do that.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was going to the specialist for my ankle and everything, I had to go through physical therapy, all this stuff. And I was reading the charts, and they didn't expect me to heal as fast as I did. Now, when I say I listened to everything the doctor said, like, I was walking, I did my physical therapy, I was going above and beyond. Some people would say I was doing too much, stuff like that. But I was just very determined to heal. And I remember reading in the chart when I went for my last appointment, because they were like, wow, you healed up pretty fast. Like, you healed up fast. We weren't expecting you to heal up for like 6-7 months. And when I looked in the chart, it said because of my weight. They weren't expecting me to heal up because of my weight. They thought it was going to be too much.
Like, is it even like, I understand weight having like a big deal with like circulation, and you need the blood in the area for it to actually heal. But I'm like, you don't even have fat ankles.
All my fat is in my thighs, baby.
Yeah, like, you ain't gotta worry about you don't have fat feet, you don't have cankles. Like, I feel like every time that so from this episode, I understand why you have this issue with doctors, because they're always coming for you every single chance they get.
Yep. And I have a few doctors that I like now. Like, I had to really search high and low for the doctors that I have now to really find what was going to work for me and what wasn't. I told them I wanted a more holistic approach. So one of my doctors that I love dearly, Dr. Evelyn Wells. I have her.
Shout out to Dr. What?
Evelyn Wells.
Evelyn Wells.
So I was seeing her when I was in high school. So back in high school, that's when I had lost a lot of weight with her. I ended up gaining it back because after a certain point, my health insurance wasn't covering her anymore. So she told me back then, she did blood work, which none of my doctors had ever done blood work on me before like this.
Oh,
and she did like a whole panel where it tested my testosterone, like my estrogen levels, all this stuff. And she said, your testosterone levels are so high. And I was like, well, really? And she's like, yes, I think you have PCOS. Because she was asking me about my periods, all this other stuff, like nothing that anybody else has ever asked me before. So I was like, okay. So, so I went to one doctor, and they were just kind of like, well, you're young, just try to lose some weight, and it'll regulate itself. Now, Dr. Wells was like, well, technically, if you have PCOS, it's really hard for you to lose weight, so instead, I'm going to put you on this, I'm going to put you on that, blah, blah, blah. And I did lose it. I was losing the weight. I was doing everything she told me to do. I was following the diet, whatever, and I was losing. But like I said, I was on my parents' insurance at the time. And then after a certain point, like, I gained it back, plus some. So then later I was like, okay, let me go to another doctor, see if I can get this regulated, whatever. Because when we were getting it in check, that's when I was losing weight again. Went to the doctor, and he said to me this way, straight up. He said, well, I could put you on a lot of medications, all this other stuff, or I was like, well, I don't really want to be on a lot of medications. I would like to heal it naturally. He said, well, my suggestion to you is to get weight loss surgery, because don't you want your pretty face to match the rest of your body? And I'm not going to lie to you. When he said that to me, I was done. I was like, I'm walking out. I'm not coming back. I'm one of those people. If he had approached it differently, maybe I would have gotten the weight loss surgery right then and there. Like, I'm not even going to lie.
Talk about bedside manner. Were you expecting to get like a tip for that? Like, you know what? You're one of the good ones.
Yes.
Like, you get it.
Yeah. And then after that, I was like, okay, well, I'm done with this. I'm not. No.
But you even like considered.
I did consider.
Well, not with him, I don't think.
I did consider weight loss surgery because I did have another doctor that literally told me, like, you know, because I think for me, sometimes so this last stint of me, like, because I've, you know, yo-yoed with my weight my whole life. But this last stint of me, like, really trying to lose weight, whatever, started in 2018. And this time I haven't gained anything back. Like, every time I lose, I noticed something about my body too, which this is another reason why I'm like, the way that doctors do things, they should change the whole system, because I take pictures. If I didn't take pictures, I would think I didn't do anything, because I'm telling you for sure, my weight will stay the same for weeks. It might fluctuate by 2-3 pounds. But my waist will get smaller.
Yeah, I definitely noticed a difference.
My waist will get smaller, or like my clothes will fit differently, or my face will get thinner. A lot of different things, even though my weight has not moved or hasn't budged. But that's because I'm gaining muscle on top of losing body fat. And then after, I don't know when, I guess my body is just like, okay, well, we got to figure something out to do with this. And then all of a sudden I'll drop 10 pounds.
Yeah.
It'll be like out of nowhere. I'm like, what? And then I'll stay in that in-between phase for like a good few weeks. And then all of a sudden 10 pounds. So I noticed that's how my body works. So because of that, I think before I didn't know what my body was doing. So it was very hard for me to stay on it because I felt like hopeless. Yeah. I felt like I don't know what's wrong with my body. But like I said, because I take pictures now and I take measurements now and you know, I use my waist beads, I can see the difference even though the scale's not moving. And like I said, the scale that I have now tells me like if my body fat is dropping or going up or, you know, stuff like that. So that helps as well.
I think it's kind of okay. So like, I get from your perspective, I guess the main reason why I don't necessarily put my full trust in doctors is because everything does go down to weight. And just because I don't have it doesn't mean that there aren't things that are wrong with me. Like, every time I go to the doctor, even if it's like I got a new insurance and we're doing our, the annual, they're like, oh, your numbers are great, da-da-da-da. And I'm like, not saying that I'm a hypochondriac, but I do know that certain things aren't perfect.
Right.
Like, the reason why like, you can't even tell me, like, I'm dehydrated. Like, you're just saying, like, oh, well, you eat right. I'm like, no, I don't. I eat garbage. Like, these tests that you're getting these results from aren't displaying the full scope of the situation. Like, and another thing, I forgot. So I had 2 back surgeries. When I was a kid, I was growing, and obviously, like, I'm pretty tall. Like, I'm not freakishly tall, but I'm tall. And I had a growth spurt. Growth spurt to the point, like, when I was 12, I had stretch marks all the way up my leg looking like a zebra. And I think from the growth spurt, it kind of messed up my spine, and I developed scoliosis. When I was 22, I had back surgery, and the doctor told me and my family that they were going to put 2 titanium bars or braces or whatever in my spine, shaving it off because it looked like an S, literally, like I had an S. And they broke it, and they gave me a spinal fusion with these 2 titanium bars. 2 years later, my back literally starts splitting open. And at first when it starts splitting, it just looked like dead skin on the scar. So I'm like, okay, maybe I just have to put cocoa butter, whatever. Like, it's a little itchy. I just thought, like, you know, it's healing. Because, you know, when you get a major surgery, that the nerves aren't are growing back. So I just thought that it was associated with that. But no, eventually it actually opened. So I go to my doctor, and mind you, my doctor was a pediatric orthopedist. Because I've had him since I was a kid to my adulthood. He's the only one that I've had look at my back. You know, he did. He basically made me lay down on the on the bed, and he said, "Oh, it looks like the stainless steel isn't, like, I guess."
Was your body rejecting?
My body was rejecting the stainless steel, and I'm just like, so you put forks and knives in my back and pass it off as titanium? Because if you didn't know, titanium is a very clean, lightweight metal, and it's malleable, like, it's flexible. It's, like I said, it's a lot cleaner. So stainless steel, that can be like any grade. It's prone to infection. It doesn't really bind with organic material like that. So
they told you they put titanium in your back, but they really put stainless steel in your back.
Yeah. And he cauterized me, like, didn't even, like, put me to sleep. He was just like, oh. And I'm just like, oh. He's like, how's that? I'm like, is it closed? And that didn't work. I ended up going to a wound care clinic by my house because I had to go all the way to New Brunswick. Went to a wound care clinic. The doctor there said all the meat, not the meat, but all the muscle that was around my spine was dead.
Ugh.
And it was just literally being rejected on the metal. They couldn't tell if the skin or the muscle was infected or the metal got infected. So they just said that this needs to come out. And Taryn was there, and they took like packs of cotton swabs and put it down my back, and like they were taking like scalpels, not scalpels, but like they were just like like excavating my back, and one of the tools hit the metal that was in my back. I almost passed out. I was like, but like I didn't feel anything because they put all the local anesthetic and everything. So I was just like, okay, do it. But Taryn was like watching me on the other side of the room. He was like, like it was just.
And that was like negligence, because first of all, how are you going to say that you did this and then you didn't?
And then got mad at me, because then I eventually went, I was like, you need to take this junk out of my back, because my body is literally rejecting it, and all you're going to do is just keep cauterizing it. Take this junk out of me. And he didn't even mention about the fact that he reneged on your thing. And I'm like, I told my parents, I was like 24 at the time, so I'm still on their insurance. I was like, are we going to sue this guy? They're like, yeah, we'll get to it.
So you have the rods out your back now?
Yeah, so now I'm just fused. I don't even know anymore. I can't trust the word out of this dude's mouth.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. That's a crazy story. Like, see, that's the thing. Like, I don't like that. I feel like.
Why didn't you just tell me?
Yeah, like why not just put it in chart before, like, oh, I did this, I did that, instead of like, oh, I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z, and then when you have a problem, oh, it's not that big a deal. Like, no, like you have an oath, you did all this stuff that you're supposed to do, you did all these years of medical school, and then on top of that, we can't even go into like how, as Black people, they don't even look for certain things. Like I think this one guy had to actually literally put a book together about how certain diseases look on Black skin.
Yeah, because when you go on Google, like, perfect example, the other night I was looking up, what does Coxsackie look on on Black skin? Because there was an outbreak in the classroom. I don't have Coxsackie, neither does my kid. But yeah, like everybody are these not people that look like me.
and there's some things that show up differently on like white skin versus Black skin, and it's like they don't even know how to look for it, stuff like that. And there's a lot of different things where they've even said you know, especially with Black women, it's almost like they believe that they're lying about their pain.
They don't trust our pain tolerance.
Yeah, they think that we
can handle it.
We have higher pain tolerance than everybody else, so they don't really.
And it's
give
not
us
true.
Medication.
We're just not gonna go and cry about every single thing. I mean, I'm gonna tell you, going through childbirth, I'm not gonna say like I didn't feel nothing.
Actually, can we talk about your first child? Because didn't you kind of like get...
Almost died? Yeah, I did.
Almost died, but like there were things that you didn't want, but they talked you into doing it.
So because I had the back surgery, I was so adamant. I was like, do not give me an epidural. I don't think that it's going to work because my spine is fused. And the epidural goes directly into your spinal cord. And it's you can't get a straight shot my bone is fused into one bone. So they gave me 3 epidurals. They're like, no. First of all, I went in there for a scheduled delivery, and they kept on trying to convince me, like, oh, if you get the epidural, it will relax your muscles and, you know, make the baby want to come out more. And I was like, I guess it's already been like a few hours since I've been on this Pitocin drip. The Pitocin drip is the thing that makes your contractions start up. So I was like, you know what, fine. Like, everybody keeps... My mom even went against me. Mm-hmm. And she was just like, yeah, just do it. It'll be fine. I'm like, I don't know. The first time they did it, I felt my whole stomach, but I didn't feel my legs. And I was like, I'm pretty sure this is in the wrong spot. The second time they did it, as they were injecting it, I couldn't hear anything, and I started tasting nickels. I was like, am I supposed to lose my hearing? And they took that out. The last time they hit it, and I mean, it wasn't, I felt like part of my stomach, but I was like, you know what, just don't touch me. They popped my, I'm going to say cherry. They popped my,
what is it?
Not my cervix.
The
plug.
Yeah, the plug, yeah.
They popped my plug. So Dakota was just sitting there dry for hours. I ended up getting an infection or trying to fight an infection. So I had a fever. That's when I had to go in for my emergency C-section. I ended up passing out. Taryn was there. He was telling me the whole thing. I didn't know that I passed out. I thought I was coherent the whole time. Unfortunately, what hurts me more is the fact that I made it a point to go with my doctor back then because it's someone that I knew personally. And I just didn't really feel
listened to or heard.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's the biggest issue.
You're not honoring my wishes. You're just going based off of what you're used to.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of times, like, it's like, oh, we know better than you because we've been doing this for a long time. But it's like, who knows?
But you don't know me.
But you don't know me. I'm telling you what my body, like, I'm telling you how I react to certain things. I'm telling you how this works. Like even when I go to get blood drawn, every time I go to get blood drawn, because I know exactly, poke me here, poke me there, poke me there. I'm like, just take it from my hands because that's going to be the easiest way for you to do it.
Are you one of those people that pass out?
I used to. I used to pass out. I'll never forget this too, right? So it was like funny. I didn't realize like how much of a blood panel this one doctor had ordered this one time. So I had to do all this blood in a urine test. So they took all this blood from me, you know, whatever. So I'm like there, like, okay. And I told the doctor, I was like, oh, I don't feel good. They're like, oh, it's okay. Just go take this urine test. So I'm like, okay. I had the cup, and I sat there. I was waiting. Someone was in the bathroom. Luckily, someone was in the bathroom because I don't know when it happened. All I know is I was out. And I looked up, and there were all these white coats around me and everything like that. And they were just like, oh, are you okay? Blah, blah, blah. I was like, did I die? I literally thought I died because all you see is white. So they're like, oh, here's this, take this Coke, all this other stuff, to bring my blood pressure back, bring my blood sugar back up. But it's like, you know, you have to go fasted, you know. But yeah. I'm just kind of like, I told you before I got up and you handed me this urine cup.
Right.
I
told you about what I was. Like,
I told you I wasn't feeling
you
good.
You just didn't listen to me.
Like, it wasn't like I was like lying.
Why would I lie about something like that?
Like, you know? So.
And then if I was lying, like, that's even another character flaw. Like, who lies about something like that? Because I feel like there are people that do that.
Right.
That's so sad. You
Like,
ruin it for everybody.
I'm not going to say there aren't good doctors out there.
Of course not.
Because there's probably a lot of good doctors out there. I love my chiropractor, Dr. Kevin. Love him to death.
Shout out to Dr. Kevin. Like, he knows right. Oh my God, he's the best.
I love Dr. Kevin.
He'll crack you up. Get it? Gotcha.
I have a few doctors that I vetted and found that were very helpful to me, but I've also had a really crap ton of crappy doctors and stuff like that. And even when I decided or thought about going with weight loss surgery, I found the doctor, Dr. Rumagan. She was suggested to me, and even when I was there, she definitely made it be like, just so you know, Danielle, this is your choice, 100%. I support you if you do it. I support you if you don't do it. Here are the risk factors for this. And one of the biggest risk factors for me was my gallbladder surgery. And not gallbladder. Sorry, let me rewind. So my mom and both my brothers have had to have their gallbladders removed. And so has a lot of my other family members, skinny and bigger, all different sizes. And I have always been scared of having my gallbladder having to be taken out or something. So I'm very particular about like not eating fried foods, not eating certain things because I know that like infects gallbladder.
Yeah.
I have had some gallbladder issues, like not gallstones, but they say I get like gallbladder spasms.
Yeah. That was like a month straight, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I get gallbladder spasms. So my biggest concern, I remember, when I went for a consultation for weight loss surgery before, I did have a doctor that was like, I was asking him all these questions, like, well, what about, because that's a side effect of having weight loss surgery, is that it can lead to gallbladder issues where you have to get your gallbladder removed and stuff like that.
Okay.
And my thing was, and also, you know, if you lose too much weight too fast, you know, you get all that loose skin, everything like that. And I was thinking to myself, well, for one surgery, I don't want to have 3, like, you know. And I asked him about it. He was just like, well, if it happens, we'll just take it out. And I'm like, my point is, I don't want to have to take it out. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Like why? I mean, you know how like they say an appendix really does nothing?
Yeah.
Then why do we have it? Because honestly, it does do something. It's used for filtration. And if you really think, if you're one of those people like me that's gotten their appendix removed, imagine what you've done to your body to literally destroy a organ.
Right.
Like, you're literally eating poisons and toxins to the point that it makes a part of your system that's supposed to do its job overload and explode and could possibly kill you if, depending on how early you catch the rupture. Right.
And I guess for me, I was like, I don't want to have... Like, I know what the gallbladder does, stuff like that. I'm like, I don't want to have it removed because I have the weight loss surgery.
Yeah.
And he said that to me. So when I talked to Dr. Rumagan about it, she was like, you know what, Danielle, you've been losing weight, you haven't been gaining, you know, whatever. If that is so big concern for you, like, I probably want to do it because I can't guarantee that that you're not going to have that issue because rapid weight loss does trigger the gallbladder, and it does trigger gallstones and stuff like that. And I know people who have had weight loss surgery who've had to have their gallbladder removed and other things like that. So I decided, like, that wasn't the way for me personally based on my family health history. And I was happy that she actually listened to me.
She's one of the good ones.
Versus a doctor who was just like, well, we'll deal with it when it happens.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we'll just deal with it.
I love my pediatrician. Well, my kid's pediatrician, because we went to a doctor that was, like, making us meet all the goals for the vaccinations. I'm not gonna say that my kids are completely unvaccinated, but I control the schedule. And when I went to the doctor to go get my oldest done, she literally said, well, if you don't do it to the schedule, she's gonna die.
Yeah,
I was like, you're never gonna see me ever again, because I know that's not I know it's not a fact. So we found a new doctor, Dr. Schroyer, over here in Wall. He's awesome. Like, you should definitely take him, and he has great stories, and he works with you. He goes at your own pace, and he not only goes with your own pace, because, like, what if I was ignorant and didn't know everything, which I am ignorant in a lot of things. So he'll explain to you the pros and the cons, and makes you make the decision at the end of the day. He's not going to force you to do anything.
And I think that's the thing about some doctors. I don't like when it's like, oh, if you don't lose weight, you're going to die. Oh, if you don't do this, you're going to die. I'm like, okay, explain to me what are the complications, what are the risk factors, what happens? Explain to me what's going on with my body.
Just talk to me.
Break it down. Make it simple, layman's terms, so that we can really understand it. That's another reason I like my dentist, because the dentist I go to at Bella Dental, every time he's doing something as a procedure, he's explaining to me what he's doing.
Oh, yeah, you were telling me that.
Yeah, he explains to me what he's doing and why he's doing it. He explains to me, like, hey, I'm going to try this first to see if this heals itself. If it doesn't heal itself, we're going to have to do this. And he'll explain why he has to do it. And I prefer that over you just being like, you have to do it.
You have to get a root canal. But
you have to get it done.
Came because I needed my teeth clean.
Like, like if you explain it to me and you break it down in a way that I can understand, like, I think that's the thing. Sometimes I feel like doctors talk to us like we're stupid.
And, okay, so I can understand breaking it down to be simple so we can ingest it, but don't make it seem like I don't have the ne'er-do-well to, like, do it myself, or to even look up this information, to want to take care of myself. Don't shove it down my throat. It's like, I'm doing you a favor. Like, chill.
Yeah, and I think at the end of the day, I'm going to say this. Do your research. Mm-hmm. Figure out what works for you and what works for... Because I remember one time I told my doctor, like, I had one doctor, I was like, I like to be as natural as possible. Like, I don't want to have to be on antibiotics all the time or whatever. Like, don't just... Because one time I was, like, having chronic yeast infections. And I'm like, I don't want to have to be put on pills every time I have a yeast infection. I want to get to the source of it, so that, like, what should I be eating? What should I be avoiding? What should, like, and I had to do my own research, and he gave me a book. The new doctor I have gave me a book to listen to about yeast infections and stuff like that. And then I listened to that book, and I haven't had really any yeast issues since, would you say? Like,
I mean, I haven't checked.
I'm just... That's another story for another day. Oh my God, that's another story for another day. You gotta pay if you want that story.
Hey! All right, guys. It's been great. This whole conversation has been nothing but gems. Just gems. But if you want to keep watching us, you know where to find us. We're on allegedlycredible.com. You can also find us on our YouTube page, Allegedly Credible. Find us on Instagram. Find us on Facebook under
@AllegedlyCredible.
And then you can also follow me, your girl Mello Supremo, on Instagram, Mello_Supremo. You can follow this chick
@CreativeLadyFaye
on Instagram. We do have a TikTok. We do have a Twitter. Watch out for us. But please, 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 I can't stress this enough. Come see us in person.
Come see us. Come talk to us in person. June 4th at 10 a.m.
Yes, on a Sunday.
Ewing at the studio. We're going to be teaming up with Real Queens Talk, and we're going to have a really deep conversation.
Coffee with Real Queens.
Yeah, so definitely come check that out, okay? Peace out, y'all. Bye-bye.
Hey, it's your girl Lady Faye.
And your girl Mel Supremo here.
And we just want to thank you so much for all the love and support for all the listeners that listen to us. But if you would really like to see us grow, we need your donations.
And you can send those donations via Zelle at allegedlycredible@gmail.com, or
you can Venmo us or Cash App us under Allegedly Credible. Anything that you could give us, we would greatly appreciate it. It's going to go towards some bigger goals we have.
Yep. Thank you so much, Credit Peeps.
Thank you.